Well, hello everyone. I will be brief because this is not a YouTube channel. This is a single video. I will most likely not make any other videos ever again. But I really wanted to make this one. I wanted to make this one to speak about the Steam Deck. And there's literally dozens, probably hundreds of very well produced reviews of this machine. With much higher production values than this, and with all fancy graphics and lighting and the camera panning around. That won't be the case here. This is all you're gonna see, and I'm making this video to give you information which I think will be relevant to essentially two classes of people. Number one, people that come from a console background and that maybe have never played on PC before or are not really well acquainted with PC gaming and that are interested in the Steam Deck but maybe are a bit on the line because they don't know if this sort of jump to so-called PC gaming will be for them. Number two, this will be a video interesting for people that are interested in piracy. So if you are easily offended by discussions about piracy, this is not a video for you. This is also not a video for you if you are a PC gamer, hardcore PC gamer that values extremely high FPS and extremely high graphics. I come from a console background. I played many games with abysmal FPS. As hundreds of thousands of others probably, Bloodborne is one of my favorite games, and as we all know, there is no other way to play Bloodborne than on a PS4, and that game lags like crazy, and it dips down to 25, 23 with frequency. But it's still one of my favorite games, and I really don't care. So this is what the video will be about. If you are a former or right now a console gamer interested in a Steam Deck, and if the prospect of piracy might entice you, well, again, this is not a review, but I wanted to give you some really practical, hands-on information and an idea, an almost tactile idea of what the experience of playing with a Steam Deck will be like. So let me tell you this first. I was in my 30-odd years of experience as a gamer, I've been a console gamer my whole life. I started with Nintendo consoles, probably the NES and the Game Boy, then the Super NES, and then from the PlayStation era onwards I owned every single Sony and every single Nintendo console, not the Wii U, and Nintendo console ever produced, all the way to a Switch and a PS4. And I have pirated, hacked, jailbroken, whatever you want to call it, all the consoles that I could. So PS1, PS2 I think, the Wii, the Switch, the Nintendo DS. Yeah, I think that's it. So I have a certain experience with piracy and with ways of getting around protection systems to run pirated games. And in some cases can be difficult. Okay, we know that in some cases it can be difficult. I remember that for the Wii, I had to, someone probably can remember this better, I had to purchase a game, it was a Lego game, and go in a certain place and then switch the disc. It was a very, very funny exploit. But I did it. It was probably the most difficult one. But I did it. Again, it's not rocket science, but there's certain people that sometimes seems to be scared just by opening up a directory or browsing through folders, and well, I'm here to tell you that this is really really easy if you have any sort of acquaintance with a PC and how a PC works. If you've ever saved a file, wrote a document, opened a file, copy pasted the file, you can do it. Okay, it's very easy. But let me start with the console side of things. So as I said, I've been a console gamer for decades, and up until recently I was also something of a collector. Again, I wasn't a crazy collector. I've never had the money to be a collector, but I was someone that over the years would buy games that were particularly meaningful for me, you know, for nostalgic reasons, games that I grew up with, and try to have them in a physical copy. I decided that that is bullshit. I have seen the hobby of game collecting turn from a hobby to this disgusting world of speculation. You know, after COVID, as you know, and after our generation, I'm in my early 40s, after my generation became old enough to feel the pang of nostalgia and to have enough disposable income to act on it, the secondhand, collectible games market became a shithole, and the prices are unreasonable. You should not pay that amount of money for an old game, a 10 years old game, a 15 years old game, a 25-year-old game. No, you should not pay that money. So what I did is I decided that, not only that, if you want to be a proper collector, you don't just have the games, you need to have the platforms. Okay, you need to have a, I don't know, PS1, a PS2, GameCube, Nintendo 64, whatever. Okay, but then you also need to have proper cables and proper upscalers to play with them on a modern television. As you know, or maybe you don't know, those are very expensive devices. Okay, the best of them are probably, I don't know, over $500 or something like that. In short, physical game collecting is now a game for rich people. I'm not a rich person, as you can imagine, and I find that the whole market around collectible games to be, frankly, quite disgusting. So what have I done? I've sold all the games that I owned, pretty much all of them, at least the collectible ones. I still have a number of PS4 ones. And I made enough money to buy this, which you see in front of you, which is a 1 terabyte Steam Deck OLED, and a SD card, a 1 terabyte SD card. So I've got a total of 2 terabytes of storage space on here. And I've quite simply downloaded all the ROMs of all the games that I sold. And I'm telling you, I play them much more often on here than I ever played them when I had the physical games, which are just boxes, cardboard boxes or plastic boxes sitting on a shelf, taking up space and eventually degrading, as much as you keep them carefully, physical objects over time degrade. So there's only 3 games that I kept, and I can show you. I only kept my original copy of Silent Hill 1, my copy of Silent Hill 2, and my copy of Silent Hill 3, so the original Silent Hill trilogy. Why did I keep them? For a simple reason, because when the day will come that a Steam Deck 2 will come out, which will happen, maybe a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, whatever. When the day comes, I will sell this machine, which I'm trying to keep in as good condition as possible. I've got all the original packaging and all that. And I will sell these 3 games here, which just the 3 of them and the conditions they're in, it will probably be easy $250 or something like that. Okay? And I will be very happy to sell them. Now, let me give you, let's cover the console experience. Let me give you a very practical idea of what it's like to play emulated games on this machine, okay? So I will not tell you how to set it up because there's dozens of tutorials online, but I want to show you what it's like, okay? So this is the sort of starting page of your Steam Deck. I modified this. I got only 2 tabs, all games, which is those that I paid for, and no on Steam, and these are all pirated games, okay? Among these, there is this which is the launcher called Emulation Station. This is a front end. You launch it, and it is just a marvelous experience. I mean, every time I launch it, it's still like the first time. There you go. You get this wonderful, lovely looking interface in which you've got displayed all the consoles you've got games for. And by the way, you can have many more games than I have and many more consoles. I don't have anything from Xbox, and I don't have anything older than the NES, and I don't have arcade emulators, but you can. But, you know, just to give you an idea, instead of playing your physical media, here, say you want to play PlayStation. You want to play PlayStation, here you got a list of all the games you got installed, and as you can see, you've got the artwork, a screenshot. I got some duplicates because my library is still slightly messy, but you can fix it as much as you want. You got screenshots, you've got information about date of release and all that sort of things. But imagine that you just feel very nostalgic and you want to play Wipeout. You want to play Wipeout, and you just scroll down. There. You want to play Wipeout 2097. Now, if you're old enough to have played with a PlayStation 1, you realize how amazing it is to have a single machine like this that I'm holding in my hands, which is capable of holding hundreds and hundreds of games. And, you know, to see that iconic intro video and play whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, it's just unreal. And games just work, okay? There will be, maybe sometimes there will be some tweaking to do, but games just work. Okay, it is a wonderful, fantastic experience. Consider that I've got a CRT filter here to sort of emulate the CRT experience. You can remove that easily, but you know, just to show you the game works. I mean, especially PS1, PS2 as well. I got PS3 games that work just fine. Emulation will take some time to set everything up, but it's amazing. And I mean, look at this. Look at this. I don't remember how you accelerate in this game. There. Well, anyway, that's enough. This is just to give you an idea that I personally do not think there is any advantage whatsoever in collecting physical copies. For your enjoyment and for game preservation in the future, this is the way to go. This is the future, okay? This is hundreds of games in your hands, and they just work wherever. Okay, so of course, if you are if you have experience with consoles and portable consoles, perhaps you know Nintendo portable consoles, which are the user interface is very refined and very smooth, and everything always just works. You will find small hiccups in this machine, okay? Yes, you will find small hiccups. Sometimes, I don't know, when, something stupid like this, you see when you lower the volume or raise the volume, sometimes while you're launching a game, the volume rocker will not appear. So let me give you an example. See if I'm launching Dark Souls while it's launching. No, it's showing up. But sometimes you have to wait those 2 extra seconds for this to appear. Some other times there will be small. Honestly, I had one crash in 2 months of daily playing of all these games, and things just work. And all of these games that you see here, these are all pirate games. They all come from, well, 95%, if I think, come from repacks, either Footgirl or Dodi. And the installation process is extremely simple. I mean, I'll give you an idea of this. As you can see, I've got 21 games here. Known Steam means that the machine recognizes them as games not taken on Steam, which probably means pirated. Of these 21 games, I really struggled. I mean, with struggled, I mean it took me more than an hour, perhaps, just asking online to install Planescape Torment, which is admittedly an older game, and it gave me some issues with compatibility, and maybe Cyberpunk, I don't remember, one more gave me a bit of issues. All the other ones that you see here, it is as simple as you install the game on your PC. You install your game on your PC, you indicate the directory in which the installation will happen, as you would do normally. Possibly you can do C/games, okay? Then you'd go and look for the folder that will be called, I don't know, Art of Rally or a Medieval, okay? You copy it and you will paste it on here, plugging a USB device here with a USB port. You will do that by going on the desktop mode. As you know, this machine has 2 modes. This one, which is the console experience, and then you can go to switch to desktop, and it becomes essentially a portable computer running Linux. But again, and this is something that sometimes scares people, if you're used to Windows, and I never used Linux before owning this machine. If you're used to Windows, Linux is there is no learning curve whatsoever, okay? Yes, maybe things will be called differently. Like, for example, this thing here is called Dolphin. Dolphin is nothing but Explorer, okay? Windows Explorer, the one that shows you the directory of all the folders you've got, okay? But it's exactly like a Windows machine. And as you can see, I've got this folder here called Games. This is the folders that I exactly copied and pasted from my laptop to Steam Deck. Then you simply open the folder and look for, now I don't know where it is in here, but you will look for the exe file of all these. You'll right click on the exe file and you will select Add to Steam. You do that and boom, the game is now on your Steam and on your Steam Deck. It is really as simple as that. For at least 90% of the games which I tried. In other occasions, you will have to use these other things. There's Lutris, there's Proton Tricks. I will not go into what they are for. There's plenty of guides online that will give you a hand with that. And about that, if you're interested in Steam Deck, if you're interested in Steam Deck for piracy, absolutely you should make yourself acquainted with, at the very least, 2 subreddits on Reddit. The number one is obviously Piracy, which is a wonderful repository of information about everything. Number 2 is the wonderful sub called Steam Deck Pirates. Steam Deck Pirates is not only one of the best moderated subreddits I've ever been into. But it's an extremely friendly environment, and you just go there and you read the guides, and if the guides are confusing or you don't understand something, you ask for help and people will help you, and in a matter of minutes or I don't know, hours at the worst, you will be playing on your Steam Deck the games that you downloaded. It's really as simple as that. Honestly, this machine is amazing, and I believe that this is the future of gaming. I believe that, as you know, Microsoft is thinking of releasing a portable machine. I mean, of course, we don't know anything to Valve. It was probably Nintendo, to be fair, with the Switch, to really have broken into the consciousness of gamers and convinced them that a portable machine, or in fact a hybrid machine, is a very viable option. And the Steam Deck took it to the next level. You can play a lot of games on this machine. You can play a lot of games from the last 20, 30 years on this machine. Yes, it will not play very cutting edge stuff. As you can see here, I've got Returnal, and I've got, which one is the other one? Here, For Solis. These two games are very recent, and if I'm not mistaken, they're both Unreal Engine 5 games. And yes, they struggle. Even with lowest possible settings, they're kind of choppy. For Solis is too choppy for me to play. Returnal is just above the threshold. But yeah, it's a bit unpleasant. But if you're not a person with extremely high frame per second requirements, you can play a lot of stuff. You can play a lot of stuff at stable 30, stable 45, or in many cases, stable 60. Forget 120, forget 144. I think those are bullshit anyway. I honestly don't desire to play anything above 60, and sometimes if I can, I intentionally lower the performance to, as you can see there, I got it set up at 45, because I honestly don't care at having a game, as long as the curve, the frame time curve is flat. I don't care of having more than 45 frames per second. But some people are different. But if you're different, just buy a console, buy a next gen console, well, a current gen console, or buy a PC, whatever, by all means. But this thing here will make you very happy, and this thing here is the future of gaming, or at least this sort of thing. Probably there will be a successor to the Steam Deck. There are competitors which are more powerful, but probably not as good an experience as this is. And this is definitely the future for game preservation. There will be lots of more official YouTubers that will tell you that companies should do more to make game preservation easier. They should make their older catalog of games available. Fuck that. There's piracy. Okay? These games are already out there for you to take, and you don't own these mega corporations anything. So go, and before they try to take them off, download as many ROMs as you can, download them all, and put them on your Steam Deck. And you will have a huge slice, in fact, pretty much the whole of the history of video games on your handheld device, which you can carry with you wherever you want, and it's at the tip of your fingers. You just need to press a button, and they will be there forever. So, once again, to close the video, former console gamers, do not fear the PC experience. This is a friendly machine. You can learn the few things that you have to learn, watch YouTube tutorials, read on Reddit. You can overcome the small hurdles that make this slightly harder than a console, a portable console, or a TV console. And people interested in piracy, this is your dream machine. Get one. You know, I understand that it's not a cheap device. Well, the LCD model right now, it's pretty affordable. If you're a game collector, trust me, sell your collection. Sell your collection. Get rid of pieces of plastic that do nothing for you and get a machine like this. You know, splurge your money and buy all the stuff that you need. Buy a dock, buy an SD card, buy the most expensive Steam Deck that there is. Put your money aside for the next Steam Deck. But you don't need a collection. You don't need a collection. This is your collection. Wherever you are, whenever you want, you can play games. Okay? You don't need to have these plastic boxes in your hands that will eventually crumble and fade and will be broken and are unreasonably overpriced. I'm keeping this aside only because I want the money to buy the next Steam Deck. So, well, that's it. I hope I made my case. This machine is fantastic. This machine is the future of gaming. This machine and ones like it are probably going to kill the console as we know it and blur the line between PC gaming and console gaming into something like this, which will just be gaming. And this machine, I hope, will contribute to kill the business of game collecting. And this machine, I hope, will further promote piracy and game preservation of older games without giving money to greedy corporations that just try to make more money on games that are old and that the people that made those games will not see any money anyway. So get it. Sell what you have, buy a Steam Deck, download pirated games, and have fun. I'm out. Bye, guys.